This is an open letter for Stephen, my cousin, Stephen Najat Nezhat. Another open letter in a series of open letters. Here's the thing, Stephen. For many years I tried to block the experience that I had in your household. People don't try to block good experiences from their memory. They try to block bad experiences. And funny thing that it wasn't only me that you guys had a problem with, didn't give a fuck about, treated like shit. I have a cousin, our other cousin, also came to your house. She could only handle a couple of months, a few months of staying in your house, 2-3 months. The kind of shitty reception that I got from you motherfuckers for 3 years, and I put up with that kind of shitty reception for 3 years. She could only handle for 3 months, 2-3 months, and she had enough. Sort of like, okay, I give up. You guys don't like to be bothered, so have a nice day. I go home. Have a nice day. Bye. I remember that one instance in particular comes to mind and shows the level of cocksuckingness of your family. This incident took place before you come back from Spain. During one of these vacations that your sisters, during the first year that I was there, that unfortunately I was at your house full time, and I was ordered to punished by being sent to my room every night to sit by myself and watch the ceiling. Your parents didn't even want to give me a small TV for my room, so okay, you're sending the guy to his room and sit all night by himself. At least give him a TV to watch. No, the only thing I was provided was a radio, your old radio. I remember near the end of the first year that I was there, from cutting grass, I had accumulated some of my money from cutting grass and went and bought myself a small TV, handheld TV. It was about this big. And for a few nights I watched it under my blanket because I somehow predicted that your mother wouldn't approve, because your family were trying to make me uncomfortable as possible, so I would give up and ask to be sent home. And they weren't in a mood to, make my life a bit more comfortable. They were trying to make it as uncomfortable as possible. So having a TV in your room would be a gift, cannot be justified as part of the punishment. Having a TV in your room would alleviate your loneliness. My loneliness would alleviate my loneliness, would make life a little more pleasant for me. As long as I had to be sent to my room every night at age 13 to be by myself for 12 hours a night, your cocksucking mother, after a couple of weeks, she discovered that I had this small TV that I'm watching under my my blanket. Apparently during the day she would snoop around, she would go around in my room when I wasn't there, when I was sent outside to do some chore. Apparently she goes and finds the TV, and your mother confiscated that small TV. Sort of like, nope, nope, you can't have a TV in your room. Why? Because I said so. Punishing the motherfucker for the sins of his father for not paying you, but you don't want to send him back on your own. You want agreement from either the father or the son for him to be sent back. So you put pressure on the father to give money, to pay for his existence, his son's existence, and he doesn't want to pay because he doesn't give a fuck. And you put pressure on the son. Punish him for no fucking reason. Just because. So he would fucking give up and said, please send me back to the hellhole that I was living in. Stephen, your mother, your father, your sisters, you yourself, you're a fucking bunch of cocksuckers. Selfish, self-centered cocksuckers. Janet Nezhat, Juliet Nezhat, and your parents, Michael and Irene. You're fucking a bunch of cocksuckers. Your mother confiscated my TV, which I bought from my own money. Which the school had told them that, hey, it's good for him to watch TV. He will learn English faster. But your parents didn't care about anybody learning TV or anything else. Fuck you. We don't want him learning English. We want him out. We want him dead. So, as if all of that shit was not enough, now I'm secluded to my room. I am incarcerated by your family in my room every night for 12 hours a night, 13 hours, 15 hours a night, from 5 in the afternoon till 7 o'clock the next morning until I go to school. I'm punished by sending me to my room with no TV and nothing. Just sit there until we call you for dinner. You come, eat dinner, and get the fuck back to your room. Okay. Confiscate my the TV that I bought with my own money. Okay. Now, having no interaction with your family because I'm being, secluded from the family, I'm being cut off from the family by being sent to my room every night. So I have no contact, no socialization with your family. I'm not socializing with your family. If you don't socialize with a bunch of people, you're not going to have any conflicts with those people. So, and that wasn't sitting right with your family. That, hey, we are sending this motherfucker to sit by himself every day, every night, and he doesn't complain. And for this same reason, there's nothing to, there's no way we can have a conflict with this guy and say that we have a problem with this guy. And we cannot create conflict. We cannot create more conflict with this guy, with this kid, because he's not there. He does as we tell him, and he goes to his room every night and sits there for 15 hours a night. So your sister Janet comes up with an idea. There is nowhere that she can cause friction with me because I'm nowhere to be found. We don't interact enough for us to have an argument, friction, and so your family can complain that I'm causing trouble or I'm a nuisance or I'm having difficulty getting along with your family. If he's not there, there's no way you can say he cannot get along with my family. There's no way your father can say he cannot get along with my family. So your sister basically comes up and says, you know what? One day I'm sitting in my room and suddenly I hear your father calling me from downstairs. Farshad, come down here. Farshad. As always, I'm sitting there. It's like 7, 8 o'clock at night. I am, as always, secluded to my room. Your father calls me down. I go down and I say, yes. He says, Janet has a complaint about you. I'm like, whoa, shit. I don't remember I had any kind of interaction with Janet. Janet didn't recognize my existence. Now she has a complaint about me? So your father tells me, yeah, Janet says when you go to the bathroom, you piss, she can hear you. She doesn't like that. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm just looking at him because I don't understand what is he's saying and what he means. It's like, apparently after further elaboration from your father, Janet's complaint was that the toilet that was assigned to my room, that was next to my room, apparently part of it protruded on the side of her closet. And apparently, I'm not sure how good was her hearing. Maybe she was the superwoman, part-time superwoman, because it wasn't that easy to hear. But her complaint was that when I go to the bathroom and I piss, she somehow can hear me in her room, hear my pissing in the water, in my toilet. And that's uncomfortable for her, and that's just unacceptable. Unacceptable! That was the real impression that I got from your family, that such a horrible act, such a horrid act was perpetrated by me, that their daughter has to hear my pissing. Fuck you and your family, Stephen. Yeah. So I got an earful that night that apparently I'm not supposed to piss anymore. And I was, as a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, I was wondering, what the fuck do you want me to do? Sort of, what is the solution? We don't know what is the solution. No, that was not during the first year. That was during the second year, in one of the vacations that I was forced to come to your house. Believe me, I didn't want to come to your house ever. Who wants to go to the place where they treat him like shit? Who wants that? It's just the school was closing down for the holiday and I had to come to your house. Yeah, Steven. So that holiday after I left, went back to school, the holiday ended and I went back to school and I told my schoolmates that, have you ever heard of such thing? They all laughed, that they've never heard such thing, that somebody is being punished or being reprimanded or being uh, for pissing in the toilet. And I still don't have. I mean, it's sort of like even when I'm pissing, I guess I should not make any noise. What, I should hold my dick and aim it to the wall, and be very careful and let it go drop by drop. So your sister, there was no way, with the amount of insulation in that wall, there's no way your sister could have heard my pissing without holding her ear to the wall, which separated us. You couldn't hear somebody pissing in the toilet by just, if you're just sleeping on your bed or sitting on your desk, behind your desk. You just don't hear it. If you had to really want to hear somebody pissing, and you had to hold your ear to the wall. So the pissing was not the issue. The issue was they couldn't even find a reason to, find friction with me, your family. There was no reason to complain because we never really had any contact. We weren't socializing. You would think that now I'm telling you all these. Now I'm telling everybody. But you would think that my family would be concerned and would know all about this before. I never divulged this up to now, up to this point, to anybody. Never. Because it's something that has happened. Who can fix it? But you would think that a normal parent, normal father, would be interested in knowing how his son is being treated. His 13-year-old, 14-year-old son is being treated 6,000 miles away across the planet. You would think they would be interested, but they never were. My father would never, actually ask, "Hey son, how are you being treated? Are you happy? Are you not happy? How's life?" Never, ever. They would not call, and every time your mother forced me to call home during those 3 years, your mother would force me to call because my parents didn't want to call. These cocksuckers. Again, my father was a cocksucker, brother of your father. Family of cocksuckers. Irresponsible cocksuckers. Irresponsible cocksuckers. So yeah, my father never asked me at that time, after it, never wanted to know that how am I, how comfortable I am as a kid, as somebody who's, ultimately he's responsible for. He never wanted to know, never asked, wasn't important. Who gives a fuck? Fuck you. Do you understand what I'm saying? This was our father. He was really interested in the welfare of my sister, this cunt, Vida Farukhnejad, who's stolen all our family's belongings now. He was really interested in her well-being then and now. She's 55, she's 58, for fuck's sake. She's 60 years old, and my father is still concerned about her welfare. Is he concerned about my welfare? No. Fuck her. Die. Because he likes pussy. My father likes pussy. That's his only objective, pussy. Taking care of pussy, because he loves pussy. He loves to be around pussy. Especially my sister's pussy. He had developed this romantic relationship with my sister. He wants to be around her. He wants to take care of that pussy. And that Muslim guy understood that. And that's why he jumped on the pussy. But as far as your family is concerned, Stephen, I wouldn't be proud of that family that you have. Just like I'm not proud of the shitty family that I have. These are all brown families with limited IQ who only see short-term gains, even with regards to their own family, to their own blood, to their own brothers, their sisters, even to their own, in case of my father, even his own children. As far as his own children can benefit him, he's okay with them. If they can't benefit, if they don't show any benefit for him, fuck him. Responsibility doesn't recognize responsibility. Recognizes that he's the king and his children are somehow his servants. His one of them is his Sogoli, which is basically saying that my sister was that pussy that he loved, that pussy that he couldn't get enough of, that pussy that he had a relationship with. And us, me and my brother, a couple of dicks in the house that he really couldn't stand. As soon as we passed puberty, he somehow was offended of our presence. Even before puberty, I remember this cocksucker of a father that I had. Your father was a cocksucker. My father was his brother, another cocksucker. I remember since I was 6'5", I remember a certain phrase that he used at least once or twice a week in different occasions. Sometimes he would use it that when he bought a pair of shoes for me. Sometimes he used it when he did something for me, and sometimes he used it when I did something wrong. And it was a phrase that I never heard him use it in regards to my sister. The phrase was this. The Persian was لعنت به اونی که گفت بچه چیز خوبیه. Translation in English is screw those who said having kids is a good idea. Now he's saying this to a 5-year-old kid, and he continues saying this until as long as I remember. I still used to hear it at 30 years of age. This motherfucker was disappointed of my existence, apparently. The sentence, screw those who said having a kid is a good idea, it somehow shows disappointment. How can a father be disappointed of his kid at age 6? Are you fucking kidding me? At age 6, how can you be disappointed of somebody at age 6? What the motherfucker had to do at age 6, so that would not disappoint you, that would satisfy you. So yeah, the cocksucker that I had, this father cocksucker that I had, Arastu Farrokhnejad, is your father's brother. This was his idea, that he was disappointed in his children no matter what, especially his sons. His sons, he was disappointed. His daughter, he was never disappointed. I never, ever heard my father saying this sentence, this phrase, in regards to my sister. Never, ever. It's like whatever she did was okay. Whatever. She's giving up the pussy like a married woman at age 18. It's okay. She's my little daughter. Just like Trump and his daughter. Have you noticed that Trump brags about how his daughter calls him daddy. I just recently in a rally in one of these central states, North Dakota or South Dakota, whichever one it was, Trump was basically saying in his speech that my daughter called me daddy, and he said, "Daddy, can I come with you?" That's a fucking 45-year-old daughter calling his father daddy. That was my sister. That is my sister. Just rub the pussy against daddy and ask daddy to take exception towards her. That is my sister's life. And the daddy is easily manipulated because daddy's got a permanent hard-on for his own daughter. All the daughter has to do is just rub against him, and he just gets hard instantly and says yes to anything she wants. So my father's sons have been disappointment to him since they were 5 years old, but his daughter, however shitty life she has led, has never been a disappointment because he's got a hard-on for her. That's the story of our family. And now you know why I put up 3 years of hellhole in your house, 3 years of dealing with that cocksucker Janet, Juliet, and you and your cocksucking mother, especially. 3 years of hell, 3 years of being treated like a house nigger, like shit. 3 years of being treated like shit. You know why I put up with it? Because my father had a hard-on for my sister. He didn't even. I was a disappointment to him from age 5, just because I had a dick. He had a hard-on for my sister, so he barely recognized my existence. That's why when I had the opportunity and I reached the United States, he squandered that opportunity for me. He told your father to fuck him, send him back, because it wasn't important to him. I didn't have a pussy. It wasn't important to him because I didn't have a pussy. That's why. After going through shit and reaching United States and even living in that shitty condition that your family had created for me, he still wouldn't pay money. He still wouldn't pay for my existence. He didn't want to. Because I didn't have a pussy. Period. That's why I put up with all the shit your family threw at me. Because my own home was not really home either. As you can see, 4/5 of our family's belongings, wealth, however hard the money that was saved with hardship and work of our family, has all been given freely to my sister Vida by my father, because he loves that pussy. 4/5 of our family's belongings have been given to Vida, and 1/5 has been divided between me and my brother. How reasonable that is? It's not. Because my father, he wasn't a reasonable man. He was a walking dick. A walking dick that was hard for my sister. End of story. And now you know why I didn't complain about the shit that your family put me through. Anyway, fuck you, Steven. You have been a trust fund baby. You have led a good life, a fulfilling life. You are the son that wasn't retarded in your family, the only son that wasn't retarded in your family, and you were treated with kid gloves all your life. Driving BMWs and Mercedes and being begged to come and attend this nice university and study medicine, please. And Manucherry Rampur was sent to beg you to come and study medicine in this good, expensive university, please. Oh, fuck you, Steven. Fuck you, cocksucker. And now you have the audacity to, sit on the higher moral ground for yourself and tell me what you think, your perspective regarding matters which you know little about. Oh, fuck you.